The dust tickles my nose as I push aside another cardboard box in my parents' storage room. Mom's voice echoes from downstairs, reminding me to hurry up and find those old Christmas decorations. But something else catches my eye: an intricately carved wooden box tucked behind a stack of weathered moving boxes. My fingers trace the delicate engravings, following the swooping curves of carved flowers. The lid creaks as I open it, and my heart skips with anticipation. But instead of the expected trinkets and treasures, I find myself staring at meticulously organized photo albums and scrapbooks. The first album falls open to a page dominated by Sophia's high school graduation. Her perfect smile beams up at me as she clutches her valedictorian medal. The next page showcases Elena's piano recital, her fingers poised over ivory keys. I flip through more pages, my movements growing more frantic. Sophia's college acceptance, Elena's art competitions, their birthdays, their achievements, their celebrations. Not a single photo of me. My hands begin to shake as I grab another album, then another. Each one tells the same story, a carefully curated family history where I simply don't exist. The room suddenly feels too small, the air too thick. Last weekend's family gathering flashes through my mind. I'm back in the living room, chasing after Leo and Mia as they race between the furniture. "Annie, keep those children quiet." Mom's sharp voice cuts through the chaos. Meanwhile, Sophia holds court by the fireplace, describing her latest promotion while Elena nods along, both of them pristine and poised. Always the babysitter, never the star, Sophia had whispered when I passed her later, her tone dripping with false sympathy. But really, what else would you be good for? Another memory surfaces: Elena's 16th birthday party last spring. I'd spent hours helping Mom prepare, hanging streamers and arranging flowers. But when the guests arrived, Mom had strategically positioned the family photos on display. I watched her remove my dance competition certificate from the wall, replacing it with Elena's latest piano award. "We want to keep the focus on the birthday girl," she'd said, not meeting my eyes. The pattern stretches back years. At every family gathering, every holiday, every celebration, the same careful orchestration played out. My sister's wedding photos prominently displayed, while my art school acceptance letter gathered dust in a drawer. The family newsletter Mom sent out each Christmas, filled with updates about Sophia's career and Elena's performances, my own achievements reduced to a brief mention of helping around the house. My fingers brush against something at the bottom of the box, a stack of certificates and newspaper clippings. Each one chronicles another triumph. Sophia's academic awards, Elena's artistic achievements. Mom's neat handwriting labels every item, dates each milestone. I remember the day I won first place in the county art show. Mom didn't even come. "Someone needs to watch the little ones," she'd said, not meeting my eyes. I'd stood alone on that stage, clutching my ribbon, searching the crowd for a familiar face. A floorboard creaks behind me, and I whirl around to find Grandma Rose in the doorway. Her eyes move from my face to the scattered albums, and something shifts in her expression. She doesn't speak, but her gaze holds mine with an intensity that makes my throat tight. There's recognition there, and something elsey spark of defiance that mirrors the fire building in my chest. The box sits between us like an accusation. All these years I've tried to be the good daughter, the helpful sister, the reliable one. I've swallowed my words, buried my dreams, played my assigned role. But sitting here surrounded by the physical proof of my erasure, something inside me finally snaps. I stand up slowly, my legs unsteady. Through the dusty window, rain begins to speckle the glass, distorting the world outside. The house feels different now, like a museum dedicated to my own invisibility. Every family photo on the walls, every carefully arranged shelf, they're all part of the same story. A story where I'm nothing more than a footnote, a shadow in the background. My reflection catches in the window, barely visible among the raindrops. For the first time, I really look at myself. The paint-stained fingers, the uncertain smile, the spark of rebellion in my eyes that no one ever bothered to notice. I won't do this anymore. I whisper to my reflection, and the words feel like a match struck in the dark. The truth can't be ignored now. It sits in this box, in these albums, in every carefully curated memory that wrote me out of my own family's history. They'll regret making me invisible, because I'm done playing my part in their perfect family portrait. My hands shake as I lift the delicate envelope from the wooden box, its edges worn and yellowed with time. More documents spill out beneath it: financial records, letters, notes in Mom's precise handwriting. Each one feels like a knife twisting deeper into my chest. Asterisk the 15th of October. Removed A's art competition photo from living room display. Replaced with S's business award. Maintaining focus on real achievements. Asterisk the 3rd of December. Family newsletter draft. Lead with S's promotion. Include E's recital. A. Helping with holiday preparations. Keeping busy. Asterisk the 20th of January. Budget adjustment. Reallocate A's college fund to S's MBA program. More strategic investment. Asterisk. The words blur as tears threaten to spill. I blink them back, refusing to let them fall. Each page reveals another calculated move, another deliberate erasure. Momno Isabel documented everything with clinical precision, like a scientist recording a long-term experiment. Only I was never the scientist. I was the specimen. My throat tightens as I uncover more recent entries. Last month's family barbecue, where Sophia cornered me by the drinks table. Asterisk. Still playing with your little paintings, Annie? How? Quaint. Asterisk the notes show it wasn't just visual cruelty. She'd practiced that line, chosen that moment, coordinated with Mom to ensure maximum impact while the rest of the family celebrated her latest promotion. Another folder catches my eye, emails printed and meticulously filed. My stomach churns as I recognize Sophia's work address at the top. Their contents lay bare a deeper betrayal than I'd imagined. Mom, Annie's applying for the Hargrove Scholarship. Contacted admissions, reminded them about the incident with Dad's foundation. They'll ensure the application gets lost. S. Art Institute interview, scheduled my client meeting for the same day. Annie won't have a ride. She can't afford the bus fare since we redirected her savings. Perfect timing. S. FYI, mentioned Annie's emotional instability to Aunt Carol. Should help discredit any complaints about missing family funds. S. Each printed email reveals my sister as more than just Mom's puppet. She's an architect of my erasure. The family gathering where she mocked my hobby in front of potential clients. The scholarship applications that mysteriously vanished. The whispered concerns about my mental health whenever I tried to speak up. All carefully planned, documented, executed. A creak in the floorboard sends my heart racing. I look up to find Grandma Rose in the doorway, her eyes sharp despite her gentle demeanor. She moves into the room with purpose, settling into the old armchair like she's been waiting for this moment. Your mother kept everything, she says quietly. Every manipulation, every calculated slight. She's always been thorough, Isabel has. You knew? The words come out raw, accusatory. Grandma Rose's fingers trace the edge of a nearby photo album. She learned it from watching your grandfather, the way he controlled everything, everyone. When he passed, she stepped right into his shoes. She meets my gaze, but she perfected it, made it an art form. The air feels thick with dust and secrets as she describes the subtle signals, the choreographed conversations at every family gathering. How Isabel would position herself just so, ensure the right people heard the right whispers. How Sophia learned to echo her mother's techniques, becoming the perfect protege in the art of subtle destruction. The Christmas party last year, I whisper, a memory surfacing, when my art school acceptance letter was conveniently misplaced before the family photos. Grandma Rose's smile is sad. Nothing in this house is ever convenient, dear, or accidental. I turn back to the box, something catching my eye. A cream envelope, hidden beneath the others, my name written in Grandma Rose's elegant script. Inside, I find bank statements, contact information for art galleries, letters of recommendation written years ago and carefully preserved. I couldn't stop her, Grandma Rose says softly, but I could prepare for the day you'd see it all clearly. There are people waiting to help you, Annie. People who see your talent, who've been watching and waiting. My fingers brush against another papera torn diary page, stuffed hastily at the bottom of the box. The handwriting is unfamiliar, the signature faded, but a few phrases jump out. Asterisk, the truth about the inheritance. Asterisk and asterisk. Isabel's plan for the foundation. Asterisk. A chill runs down my spine as I read further. This goes beyond mere emotional manipulation. There's something darker here. Something that could shatter the careful facade Mom's built around our family name. Be careful with that, Grandma Rose warns, her voice dropping. If Isabel realizes you know about the diary, she leaves the threat unspoken, but I understand. The secret college fund, the network of supporters she's built for Mate, could all disappear with one word from Mom. I stare at the diary page, its edges crumbling slightly under my touch. One question burns in my mind, setting my heart racing. What other secrets are hidden in these walls? And how far will Mom go to keep them buried? The late afternoon sun slants through the dusty window, casting long shadows across the scattered evidence of my family's betrayal. In the distance, I hear Mom's voice calling up the stairs, cheerful and controlled as ever. But now I hear the steel beneath the sugar, the calculation behind every syllable. I carefully return everything to the box, except for the diary page, which I slip into my pocket. Its weight feels like a live coal against my leg, burning with possibility and danger. Grandma Rose watches me with knowing eyes. We both understand. The game has changed. And this time, I'm done playing by their rules. Mother's heels click against the marble floor as she sweeps through the dining room, her tailored blazer a shield of perfect composure. She pauses behind Sophia's chair, resting manicured fingers on my sister's shoulder. Have you heard about Sophia's promotion? Senior partner at only 28. The crystal chandelier catches the triumph in Mother's eyes as she surveys our gathered family. Her gaze slides past me like water over glass, settling instead on Elena's latest piano certificate propped on the sideboard. Annie. Mother's voice cuts through the murmur of conversation. The children need supervision in the playroom. I grip my fork tighter, the metal cool against my palm. I thought I might stay for dinner this time. Share some news about The children, Annie. Her tone brooks no argument. Beside her, Sophia's lips curl into a familiar smirk. The rage builds in my chest, a pressure that threatens to crack my ribs. Years of dismissal and careful orchestration flash through my Mendevory achievement buried, every dream redirected toward serving others' glory. The fork trembles in my grip. Number. The word drops like a stone into still water. Conversations halt. Mother's perfectly plucked eyebrows arch upward. I said no. I push back my chair and stand, my voice steady despite my thundering heart. I'm not watching the children tonight. I'm not playing the convenient babysitter anymore. Annie, Sophia interjects, her tone dripping false concern. Someone has to watch them. It's what you're good at, after all. The patronizing smile she wears is the same one from 1,000 memories the dance recital she convinced Mother to skip. The art show opening where my paintings were relegated to the back wall. The family photos where I was positioned just out of frame. What I'm good at? A laugh escapes me, sharp and unfamiliar. You wouldn't know what I'm good at. None of you would because you've never bothered to look. Mother's face hardens. That's enough. You're making a scene. A scene? The words taste like freedom. You want to talk about scenes, Mother? Let's talk about Elena's 16th birthday, when you took down my dance certificate to make room for her piano awards. Or last Christmas, when you edited me out of the family newsletter. Or maybe we should discuss the trust fund you've been hiding. Annie? Mother's voice cracks like a whip. That's quite enough. But it isn't enough. Not anymore. I turn to face the table of shocked relatives, my hands steady now. For years, I've watched you orchestrate this perfect family narrative. The brilliant Sophia, the talented Elena, and meth-convenient Shadow who keeps the machinery running. Well, I'm done. I'm done being your backdrop. Sophia stands, her composure slipping. You're being ridiculous. Jealousy doesn't suit you, little sister. Jealousy? I meet her gaze. I'm not jealous, Sophia. I'm awake. And I'm not the only one who sees through this charade, am I, Grandma Rose? Across the table, Grandma Rose's eyes meet mine. A slight nod, barely perceptible, sends strength flooding through my veins. In that moment, I see what I couldn't before I'm not alone in this fight. If you'll excuse me, I say, gathering my purse, I have a meeting with Marcus Lynn about my gallery showing next month. You remember Marcus, don't you, Mother? The curator you told me was wasting his time with my work? Mother's face pales. Sophia's perfect smile cracks at the edges. For the first time in years, I feel the power shift, subtle but undeniable. I walk out of the dining room, their shocked silence following me like a cloak. In the foyer, I catch my reflection in the gilded mirror paint-stained fingers, defiant eyes, shoulders straight with newfound purpose. The trembling girl who used to duck and weave around their expectations is gone. Outside, the evening air carries the scent of jasmine from Grandma Rose's garden. I breathe it in, letting the familiar fragrance steady me. My phone buzzes with a text from Marcus. Gallery space confirmed. Time to show them what you can do. A smile tugs at my lips as I slide into my car. They thought they could keep me small, contained, invisible. But they forgot one crucial detail: shadows have a way of growing teeth in the dark. And mine are ready to bite. I drive to the small studio apartment I've been secretly renting for the past month. The space isn't much, but it's mine every paint-splattered surface, every half-finished canvas leaning against the walls. Here, in this sanctuary of color and light, the weight of the evening's confrontation finally hits me. My hands shake as I collapse onto the worn sofa, memories flooding back. The constant dismissals, the subtle undermining, the careful erasure of my existence each memory burns. But instead of crushing me, they fuel something new, something powerful. I pull out my sketchbook, the pages rough beneath my fingers. Each stroke of charcoal feels like an act of defiance. I draw my family's faces as I saw them tonight, mother's mask of control cracking, Sophia's perfect composure slipping. The truth bleeds through in every line. My phone lights up with messages. The first is from Grandma Rose. "I'm proud of you, sweetheart. Come see me tomorrow. There's something you need to know." Then Marcus, "Your portfolio is ready. The art community needs to see this. Ready when you are." Even my old art teacher from high school reaches out. "Heard about tonight. About time. Let me know if you need anything." The support flows in, unexpected but overwhelming. All this time, while Mother and Sophia worked to isolate me, others were watching, waiting, ready to help when I finally found my voice. 2 weeks later, I stand in Marcus's gallery, surrounded by my work. The pieces tell my story: dark, twisted family trees, portraits of smiling faces with shadows for eyes, a series of self-portraits showing a figure emerging from beneath suffocating layers of propriety. "You sure about this?" Marcus asks, adjusting the lighting on my centerpiece, a massive canvas depicting a family dinner scene, where the figures at the table cast shadows that reveal their true natures. "I've never been more sure," I reply, straightening the name card beside the piece. Tomorrow night, the gallery opens. Mother and Sophia will receive their invitations in the morning, unable to ignore this public declaration of truth without raising questions. Later that night, as I'm gathering my things to leave, I notice an old jewelry box tucked behind some supply zone of Grandma Rose's antiques she insisted I take. Something about its weight feels off. When I turn it over, I find a hidden compartment, and inside, a yellowed envelope. My hands tremble as I unfold the letter inside. The first line stops my breath. "My dearest Annie, if you're reading this, you finally found your strength. Now it's time you learned about your true inheritance." The words swim before my eyes as I read on, each sentence revealing a carefully hidden truth that could change everything. In my chest, hope blooms like wildfire. Moonlight spills across my studio floor as I unlock the hidden safe behind my easel. My fingers trace the worn edges of Grandma Rose's dossier, years of meticulous evidence gathering condensed into one devastating weapon. Financial records, personal letters, family documents that Isabel thought she'd destroyed. Every scrap of paper is a bullet in the chamber. The oak tablet Parker family heirloom that Grandma Rose specifically left to me groans under the weight of spread papers. My laptop streams the local news in the background, a constant reminder of the world beyond these walls. A world that's about to learn the truth about the perfect Parker family. Marcus's text lights up my phone. Everything's in place for tomorrow. My hands steady as I sort the documents into precise piles. Evidence of financial manipulation here. Proof of emotional abuse there. Each stack represents a different angle of attack, a calculated strike against the fortress Isabel and Sophia built. I pause at a bank statement from 3 years ago. The numbers blur before my eyes as I remember that day standing alone at my first art show, the empty chairs where my family should have been. "Someone needs to watch the little ones," Mom had said. Now I know she'd been transferring funds that day, systematically draining the account Grandma Rose had set up for my education. The anonymous legal inquiries went out this morning. Rebecca Turner called an hour ago to confirm her support. The pieces are falling into place like brushstrokes on canvas, each one essential to the larger picture. Years of suppressed rage have crystallized into something harder, sharper blade forged in silence, ready to cut through their lies. The charity gala at the Grandview Hotel transforms into a battlefield the moment I step through its gilded doors. Isabel commands the stage like a general, her voice dripping with rehearsed sincerity as she speaks about family loyalty. The Parker name stands for tradition, she declares, each word a carefully aimed arrow. For unity and unwavering support. Sophia circulates through the crowd like a snake, poisoning the water. I catch fragments of her whispers. Always been troubled, never quite fit in. Such a shame, really. But she doesn't see what I see: Marcus Lynn's subtle nod from across the room. Rebecca Turner's phone recording every poisonous word. The growing network of allies positioned throughout the ballroom. The massive screen behind Isabel flickers to life, interrupting her speech. My heart pounds as the video begins to play, the one I spent weeks editing. Evidence appears in stark black and white. Bank statements, altered documents, damning letters. But it's the testimonies that silence the room. Former family members speak directly to the camera, their faces etched with years of similar betrayals. The Parkers nearly destroyed me. Cousin Sarah's voice echoes through the stunned ballroom. They took everything, my inheritance, my dignity, my place in the family, all because I dared to question Isabel's authority. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Isabel's perfect mask cracks. She lunges for the podium, but her words die in her throat as more evidence floods the screen. Sophia's frantic attempts to damage control only draw more attention to their unraveling facade. The community's response is immediate and overwhelming. Marcus steps forward, his presence commanding attention. As a longtime observer of this family's dynamics, he begins, his voice carrying across the now silent room. I can verify every detail of what you're seeing. Rebecca Turner materializes at my side, her phone still recording. The art world has watched the systematic suppression of young talent for too long, she announces. Tonight that changes. The next morning, Grandma Rose's carefully laid plans spring into action. Financial advisors release statements confirming the existence of my secret college fund. Legal experts outline the pattern of financial manipulation. The Urban Arts Gallery downtown transforms into a war room, where my artwork hangs alongside documented proof of years of suppression. Marcus orchestrates the exhibition with military precision. Each piece tells part of the story, a painting of a caged bird paired with a bank statement showing diverted funds, a self-portrait alongside a letter revealing Isabel's orchestrated campaigns to undermine my achievements. The truth bleeds across canvas and paper, impossible to ignore. At the panel discussion, Rebecca leads the charge. Former family employees step forward, their stories collaborating my own. The perfect Parker family portrait shatters under the weight of accumulated evidence. Each revelation drives another nail into the coffin of Isabel's control. As evening settles over the gallery, I find myself drawn to a vintage desk in the corner, another piece of Parker family history, donated years ago. My fingers trace its worn surface, finding a hidden catch in the drawer. It clicks open, revealing a sealed envelope, the paper yellowed with age. The elegant script inside makes my blood run cold. This letter doesn't just confirm what we already knew, it reveals a whole new layer of deception. The college fund wasn't just a secret account. It was part of a larger trust, established with specific conditions. Conditions that, if breached, transfer all control away from Isabel and Sophia. My hands tremble as I read further, uncovering names I never expected to see. The web of lies stretches far beyond my mother and sister, implicating others in ways I never imagined. The truth I thought I knew was just the surface of a much darker reality. The letter burns in my hands like a lit fuse. In the quiet gallery, surrounded by the evidence of my victory, I realize this is far from over. The question isn't whether I've won, it's what happens when the full extent of the Parker family's deceit finally comes to light, and whether any of us will survive the explosion. Mother's voice cuts through the grand ballroom like a blade. If you continue this rebellious behavior, Annie, you leave me no choice. She stands at the head of the mahogany table, her perfectly manicured hands gripping a stack of papers. The entire family network called financial and emotional support will be severed. My heart pounds against my ribs, but I keep my expression neutral. The gathered relatives shift uncomfortably in their chairs, crystal glasses clinking as hands nervously reach for water. Aunt Margaret won't meet my eyes. Uncle James suddenly finds his napkin fascinating. Sophia rises from her chair, the silk of her designer dress rustling. Annie, dear, she says, her voice dripping with false concern. You've always struggled with stability. Remember the dance recital disaster? The failed art show? She circles the table like a shark, each word calculated to draw blood. Our family has traditions, expectations. You've never quite managed to meet them, have you? The old Annie would have shrunk under their words, would have apologized for existing. But I'm not that girl anymore. I catch Grandma Rose's eye across the table. She gives me the slightest nod, and I feel Marcus and Rebecca's steady presence behind my chair. Months of preparation have led to this moment. Speaking of family traditions, I say, my voice steady as I stand, let's talk about a few I've recently uncovered. I pull out my phone and tap the screen. The grand ballroom's projector hums to life, and suddenly the wall behind Mother fills with image-scanned documents. Hidden letters, bank statements, Mother's face drains of color. What is the meaning of the secret college fund Dad left for me before he died? I say, advancing to the next slide. The one you and Sophia diverted into your personal accounts. The art school scholarships you intercepted and declined on my behalf. The trust fund that mysteriously vanished. Gasps ripple through the room. Sophia's perfectly composed mask slips for just a moment, revealing raw panic underneath. But that's not all. I gesture to Rebecca, who wheels in a covered easel. I've been working on a special exhibition. Would you like to see? Mother steps forward, legal documents forgotten in her trembling hands. Annie, stop this nonsense immediately. I pull the cloth away. The portrait silences the room. Mother stands central in the painting, her face a beautiful mask, while shadowy hands extend from her figure, strangling the life from a younger version of me. The technique is flawless, the emotion raw and undeniable. Beside it, I place another piece, the hidden photo albums I discovered that day in the storage room, meticulously documented and annotated with dates and deliberate omissions. This exhibition opens next week at the Urban Arts Gallery, I announced to the stunned room. Along with these, I motion to Marcus, who begins distributing portfolios to key family members. Inside each one, years of documented manipulation, financial fraud, and emotional abuse, all carefully preserved and organized. You ungrateful, Sophia starts, but her words die as journalists begin filing into the ballroom. I recognize faces from the local papers, arts magazines, even a national network crew. I believe you all received invitations to this private preview, I say to the reporters. My family has quite a story to tell. The cameras start rolling as Mother's carefully crafted world crumbles. Relatives who've stayed silent for years suddenly find their voices, stepping forward with their own stories. Marcus presents emails and recorded conversations that make Sophia physically stagger backward. The evidence is irrefutable, the momentum unstoppable. Through it all, I stand my ground, my artist hand steady, my vision clear. Every click of a camera, every scribble of a reporter's pen, every shocked whisper dismantles the prison they built around me. Ladies and gentlemen, I say, facing the growing crowd, let me tell you about the real Parker family tradition of systematic erasure and control. But today, that tradition ends. Mother lunges for the projector cord, but it's too late. Social media is already exploding with images and hashtags. The carefully curated Parker family facade shatters like fine china dropped on marble floors. I meet Sophia's eyes across the chaos. For the first time in my life, I see fear in them, fear of me, of the truth I've unleashed, of the power that was always mine to claim. Behind me, the portrait looms like an avenging angel. I am no longer the invisible daughter, the convenient babysitter, the forgotten artist. I am Annie Parker, and I've just painted my masterpiece in strokes of justice and truth. They wanted me invisible. Instead, I've made myself unforgettable. The following days blur into a whirlwind of legal proceedings and press coverage. Our family's name dominates local headlines, and former employees step forward with their own stories of manipulation. Mother's carefully crafted reputation crumbles as Marcus presents email after damning email to the ethics board. I sit in the packed courtroom, my back straight as the family lawyer presents our evidence. The judge's expression darkens with each new revelation, the doctored financial records, the intercepted opportunities, the systematic gaslighting documented in years of private correspondence. Mother and Sophia huddle with their attorneys, their designer outfits, and perfect makeup, unable to mask their desperation. Each piece of evidence strips away another layer of their control until nothing remains but the ugly truth. In light of the evidence presented, the judge's voice fills the hushed courtroom. Control of the college fund and associated family assets will be immediately transferred to the designated trustees. She fixes Mother with a steel gaze. Furthermore, this court strongly recommends a criminal investigation into the financial irregularities uncovered during these proceedings. The gavel strikes like thunder, sealing my victory, but my hands tremble as I pack up my files in the now empty courtroom. Something feels unfinished. Later that evening, I sit alone in my new office at the Urban Arts Gallery, surrounded by the artwork that helped set me free. The final court documents wait for my signature, but something catches my eye, a sealed envelope tucked between the pages, marked with an unfamiliar insignia. My fingers trace the strange symbol as a chill runs down my spine. Inside, a single note reads, "The Parkers aren't the only family with secrets to hide. Choose carefully, Annie." I stare at the cryptic message as shadows lengthen across my desk. Perhaps this victory isn't really the end. Perhaps it's just the beginning. Sunlight streams through the tall windows of the San Francisco Institute of Fine Arts, casting long shadows across my new workspace. My fingers tremble slightly as I unpack my supplies. Brushes still pristine, tubes of paint waiting to release their vibrant secrets. Around me, the buzz of creative energy fills the studio as other students settle into their spaces. Their conversations, a melody of artistic dreams and determined spirits. Welcome home, I whisper to myself, running my hand along the smooth wooden easel. The words feel right in my mouth, solid and true. Unlike the hollow praise and false warmth of the Parker household, this space radiates authenticity. My canvases lean against the wall, blank but brimming with possibility. Each one represents a story waiting to be told, a truth demanding to be shared. The paint-splattered floor beneath my feet bears the marks of countless artists who came before me. Their legacy of creative courage seeps up through my worn boots, strengthening my resolve. This is where I belong, not shrinking in the shadows of Sophia's achievements or Elena's performances, but standing tall in my own light. I take a deep breath and begin setting up my first piece. The empty canvas towers before me, but I'm no longer intimidated by blank spaces. I've lived in them too long, carved out my existence in the margins of other people's stories. Now it's time to fill them with my own bold strokes, my own vivid colors. Later that afternoon, I find myself back in that familiar storage room. But this time, I'm not searching for Christmas decorations or hidden family secrets. I'm here with purpose, canvas in hand. The space feels different now, less suffocating, more like a cocoon I've finally broken free from. My latest piece, Reclaimed Identity, finds its home on the wall where Mom once hung Sophia's valedictorian photos. The self-portrait stares back at me with unflinching honesty. Broad brushstrokes and deep crimsons, and burning golds capture a woman emerging from darkness into light. No more muted tones, no more careful curves designed to take up less space. This painting screams with the voice I was never allowed to use. The sun sets over San Francisco as I make my way to the Institute's rooftop terrace. The city sprawls below, a tapestry of lights and possibilities. My leather-bound journal rests heavy in my lap as I begin to write, each word a testament to the journey that brought me here. The first time I realized I was invisible, I thought it was my fault. I write, the pen scratching against paper. I tried to fold myself smaller, speak softer, need less. But invisibility isn't a natural state. It's something that was done to me, one careful erasure at a time. The words flow faster now, years of silent pain finding their voice. I document every dismissal, every, not now, Annie, every time my achievements were swept aside to make room for my sister's spotlight. But this isn't just a catalog of hurts. It's a map of survival, a blueprint of how I built myself back up from the ground they scorched. Grandma Rose's cafe gathering feels worlds away from the sterile perfection of Parker family events. Afternoon light filters through Victorian windows, casting warm patterns across the faces of my chosen family. Marcus, my mentor from the gallery, raises his coffee cup in a toast while Rebecca, who gave me my first show, beams from across the table. To Annie, Grandma Rose announces, her voice strong and clear, who taught us all that the most beautiful art comes from breaking free. The words wrap around me like an embrace, genuine and warm. These people, the passionate painters, dedicated sculptors, and fierce advocates who've become my tribe, they see me, really see me. Not as the convenient babysitter or the reliable helper, but as an artist, a fighter, a whole person worthy of celebration. Looking around the table at their smiling faces, I realize something profound. True family isn't about sharing blood or a last name. It's about sharing understanding, support, and the courage to be authentically yourself. The late afternoon sun bathes my downtown studio in golden light as I work with Sarah, my newest student. Her hands shake slightly as she holds the brush, just like mine used to. I recognize the fear in her eyes, the same fear I carried for so long. Your family doesn't understand why you paint, I say softly, watching her add hesitant strokes to her canvas. It's not a question. I've learned to recognize the signs. The way she apologizes for taking up space. How she tries to make herself smaller. They say it's a waste of time, she whispers, brush pausing mid-stroke, that I should focus on something practical, something. Something that makes you disappear? I finish, and her eyes meet mine, wide with recognition. I guide her hand back to the canvas, helping her press down with more confidence. Paint louder, I tell her. Make them hear your colors. As the sun sets behind the city skyline, Sarah's painting begins to take shape, a riot of bold colors breaking free from careful constraints. In her determined expression, I see my own journey reflected. The cycle of silence ends here, one brave brushstroke at a time.
The gravy spoon slips from my fingers, clattering against the ceramic floor of my parents' beach house kitchen. Warm brown liquid splatters across my apron like a Rorschach test of my family's indifference. In the dining room, just 15 feet and a lifetime away, glasses clink amid a chorus of laughter. They started without me. I stand frozen, listening to the cheerful din washing over the polished marble countertops. Mom promised we'd all sit down together once everything was ready. That was before Adrian's Tesla pulled into the driveway 2 hours ago, his designer luggage and winning smile instantly becoming the center of my parents' universe. To Adrian, my father's voice booms from the dining room, for bringing this family together on Thanksgiving. The knife edge of those words slices through me. I've been here since Tuesday, chopping, seasoning, and basting, while Adrian rolled in just before dinner, empty-handed except for a bottle of wine someone probably gave him. I bend down to clean the spilled gravy, my knees cracking against the hard tile. From this angle, I can see them through the doorway, Mom straightening Adrian's collar, Dad pouring him more wine, Aunt Sarah leaning in to hear his latest success story. Not one of them notices my absence. 3 weeks ago, Mom started the family group text with her usual holiday enthusiasm. Thanksgiving planning. We'll cook whatever Adrian likes this year since he's been so busy with his new position. I had suggested trying something different. Maybe we could go to that new restaurant on the bay? Give everyone a break from cooking? Mom's response came swiftly. Traditions matter, dear. Besides, you're so good in the kitchen. Translation. You're so useful in the kitchen. I grab a fresh dish towel, wiping gravy from my hands. My fingers have finally stopped trembling. Something shifts inside me, like tectonic plates grinding against each other before an earthquake. I pick up the gravy boat, filled to the brim with the rich brown liquid I've spent hours perfecting. The silver serving piece belonged to my grandmother, who probably stood in kitchens just like this one, serving men who never had to wonder if their contributions would be acknowledged. Walking to the dining room, I place the gravy boat firmly on the table. The heavy silver base makes a satisfying thunk against the crisp white tablecloth. 5 pairs of eyes look up briefly before returning to Adrian, who's midway through a story about his golf game with a potential client. Honey, Mom says without looking at me, could you grab some more ice for Adrian's drink? The request hangs in the air between us. I've spent 2 days cooking, while Adrian hasn't lifted a finger. The words rise to my lips before I can swallow them back. No. The single syllable lands like a stone thrown through glass. The conversation stops. Adrian's mouth hangs open mid-sentence. Mom blinks rapidly, her social smile faltering. I'm sorry? I said no. My voice sounds different, steadier than I feel. Dad's face darkens as he sets down his fork. Your brother drove all the way from Tampa. 2 hours, I say. He drove 2 hours. I've been cooking for 2 days. The silence stretches between us, filled with the unspoken rules I've just broken. My heart hammers against my ribs. This tiny rebellion might cost me the security of being part of this family, the conditional love I've spent 35 years trying to earn. Mom laughs nervously, smoothing her napkin. Marin's just tired from cooking all day. She turns to Adrian. The turkey is exceptional this year, don't you think? And just like that, the moment passes. The conversation flows around me like I'm a rock in a stream. Adrian resumes his story with barely a pause. But something has changed. For the first time, I've pushed back against the current, instead of letting it sweep me along. My no still echoes in my ears as I take my seat at the table, not rushing back to the kitchen, not fetching ice, not disappearing into the background of my own life. I reach for the wine and pour myself a full glass. When I look up, Aunt Rachel catches my eye from across the table and gives me the slightest nod. I take a long sip and feel the warmth spread through my chest. This Thanksgiving just became something entirely different. The half-eaten turkey sits abandoned on the dining table as I escape to the kitchen, my legs carrying me away from the laughter that doesn't include me. I need a moment to breathe, to process what just happened. My small rebellion, that simple no, still thrums through my veins like electricity. Mom's iPad sits open on the granite countertop, her Facebook page glowing with notifications. I shouldn't look. I've never been the snooping type. But something pulls me forward, my fingers hovering over the screen before I tap her profile. The most recent post stops my breath cold. Excited for Adrian's special Thanksgiving menu. Can't wait to taste what my talented son suggested for our family gathering. My talented son. Not a word about who actually shopped for ingredients, prepped for 2 days, or woke at 5 this morning to put the turkey in the oven. I scroll down. Photo after photo from birthdays, Easter, last Christmas, dozens of images of Adrian smiling with mom and dad. In some, I spot my elbow or the back of my head as I carry dishes to the table or clean up in the background. Not one photo features me front and center. Not one. The kitchen suddenly feels too small. The walls pressing in as 35 years of being overlooked crystallize into undeniable evidence. I've always suspected I was less important, but seeing it documented so thoroughly makes my stomach clench. Marin, where's the pumpkin pie? Mom calls from the dining room. I close the iPad and grab the pies from the counter, sliding them onto serving plates with trembling hands. When I return to the dining room, everyone remains seated comfortably, Adrian at Dad's right hand, Mom beaming beside him, Aunt Sarah leaning in to catch every word. Just set them on the sideboard, honey, Mom says without looking up. You can serve from there. I place the pies down and stand awkwardly, knife in hand, as the conversation flows around me. Adrian, tell them about your new place, Mom prompts, touching his arm. He leans back, stretching his designer shirt across his shoulders. Just closed last week. Perfect little beach house in Siesta Key. We should all go down for a visit, Dad says, his voice warm with pride. Like our Key West trip last spring. The knife nearly slips from my fingers. What Key West trip? A moment of awkward silence falls before Mom laughs lightly. Oh, it was just a quick weekend getaway. You were so busy with work. I was never invited, I say, the words falling like stones. Adrian shifts uncomfortably, but Aunt Sarah jumps in. Speaking of family gatherings, I wanted to tell you, Adrian. I've decided you should have Grandma's china cabinet. It would look perfect in your new dining room. The cabinet I've admired since childhood. The one I'd hoped would someday hold my own collection of depression glass. Thanks, Aunt Sarah, Adrian says, not meeting my eyes. That's really generous. Well, we want to make sure these things stay in the family, she replies. As if I'm not family. Adrian needs it more than you do anyway, Marin. Dad adds, especially with how much he's stretched himself with the new house. Your mother and I helped with the down payment, but mortgage rates are brutal these days. The pieces click together with sickening clarity. The same parents who called me financially irresponsible when I bought my modest Orlando condo 3 years ago with no help from them, had handed Adrian a down payment for a beach house. More pie, anyone? I ask, my voice hollow as I mechanically cut and serve, standing while they remain seated. The conversation shifts to Adrian's promotion, his golf game, his new boat. With each passing minute, the truth sinks deeper into my bones. My only value to this family is what I provide in service, the meals I cook, the dishes I wash. The holidays I organize while they enjoy themselves. If I stopped serving, would I cease to exist in their eyes completely? Would anyone like coffee? I ask, already moving toward the kitchen. That would be lovely, dear, Mom says, finally glancing my way. And could you bring more napkins? Adrian spilled a little gravy. I nod, turning away before they can see the tears threatening to spill. As I pass Aunt Rachel, Mom's younger sister who arrived late, she reaches under the table and squeezes my hand. Her eyes meet mine with quiet understanding. I see you, she whispers, low enough that only I can hear. That tiny moment of recognition nearly breaks me. As I stand in the kitchen waiting for the coffee to brew, I watch through the doorway as my family enjoys the meal I spent days preparing. The question rises unbidden in my mind. Should I maintain peace by accepting my role, or risk everything by demanding the respect I deserved? What would you do when the family you love doesn't seem to value you in return? The coffee pot hisses, bringing me back to the present. I arrange the cups on a tray, straighten my shoulders, and prepare to serve my family once more. But something has changed. A seed of resistance has been planted, and I can feel it taking root. My phone chimes with the familiar group text alert. I hesitate before opening it, remembering how the Thanksgiving aftermath left a persistent knot in my stomach. 3 weeks of blessed silence shattered in an instant. Exciting news, Mom's text reads. Adrian is hosting Christmas at his new beach house. Everyone's so thrilled. I stare at the screen, waiting for the inevitable follow-up. It arrives exactly 30 seconds later. Marin, I've made a list of your dishes. The usual stuffing everyone loves, your cranberry relish, those little appetizers with the puff pastry, and maybe your chocolate pecan pie. Adrian mentioned how much he misses your cooking. Before I can respond, another message pops up. And honey, could you come early to help set up? Maybe around 9? Adrian has an important client breakfast that morning. Think he was never bide. My thumbs hover over the keyboard. The audacity is breathtaking. Not, would you mind making? Or, if you have time, but a direct assignment of labor. As if my time, my career, my life holds no value compared to Adrian's important client breakfast. I toss my phone onto the couch and walk to the kitchen. The headache that's been threatening all day pulses behind my right eye. Marin, did you update the Henderson pitch? My boss's voice cuts through the office buzz Monday morning. He stands at my cubicle entrance, arms crossed. I'm working on it now, I say, minimizing the Christmas shopping website I'd been scrolling through. I'll have it to you by 3. No. It was due Friday. His disappointment weighs heavier than anger would. The client meeting is tomorrow morning. This isn't like you. It isn't like me. I've always been the reliable one, the one who stays late, the one who makes everyone else look good. At work, at home, everywhere. That night, I barely sleep. My stomach churns with acid that burns up my throat. The clock reads 3:17 a.m. when I finally give up, padding to the bathroom for antacids. This is the 3rd night this week. As Christmas approaches, the insomnia worsens, my body rebelling against obligations my mind tries to accept. I pull a notebook from my nightstand drawer. Things I want. I write at the top. Then I stare at the empty page. What do I want? Has anyone ever asked me that question? Have I ever asked myself? The next morning, I arrive at work an hour early. I finish the Henderson pitch, then start on next week's projects. When my boss stops by to check on me, I say, I've completed everything due this week. I'm taking Friday off. Not asking, telling. He blinks, surprised by my directness. Sure, you've got the time. Everything okay? Just taking care of myself, I reply, the words feeling foreign in my mouth. Thursday afternoon, Jessica from accounting leans against my cubicle wall. A bunch of us are having a holiday thing Saturday night. No family drama allowed. Just friends, food, and questionable karaoke choices. You in? I don't know. I hesitate. I've got so much to do before Christmas at Adrian's. Come on, she nudges my shoulder. One night for yourself won't kill you. Something about her casual invitation cracks the tension I've been carrying. I burst into genuine laughter for the first time in weeks. Questionable karaoke, huh? That bad? Horrific, she grins. Dave from It does an interpretive dance to Total Eclipse of the Heart that will haunt your dreams. I find myself nodding. Okay, I'm in. The possibility of joy. Simple, uncomplicated joy, with people who expect nothing from me except my presence, feels like coming up for air after being underwater too long. Friday off, I spent the whole day away from the kitchen, outside, just by myself. Saturday, I was testing new recipes I found on the internet, prepared and went to hang out with friends from work. My phone rings Sunday evening. Mom's name lights up the screen. I consider letting it go to voicemail, but something inside me has shifted. Hi, Mom, I answer, keeping my voice neutral. Marin, I'm finalizing Christmas plans. Did you get my text about coming early to help Adrian set up? We're counting on you. He's so busy with his new promotion. I watch my knuckles turn white around the phone. The familiar script unfolds. Adrian's needs elevated, mine dismissed. The old Marin would apologize for the delay and promise to do better. The old Marin would already be planning which grocery stores had the best ingredients for all those assigned dishes. I'm busy too, I say quietly. I have my own life and career. The silence stretches so long I check to see if the call dropped. What's that supposed to mean? Mom finally asks, her voice tight with disapproval. It means exactly what I said. I have deadlines, responsibilities, and commitments of my own. I'm not just sitting around waiting to be useful to Adrian. This is Christmas, Marin. Family comes first. Does it? Because it seems like Adrian comes first, and I'm just expected to serve him. Mom gasps. That's not fair. He works so hard. So do I. The words burst from me with unexpected force. I work hard too, Mom. But no one in this family has ever acknowledged that. No one has ever asked what I need or want. It's always about making things perfect for Adrian. I don't understand where this is coming from, she says, her voice quavering. We've always been a close family. The truth lands in my chest with stunning clarity. I don't need their approval to be worthy. I never did. All these years of contorting myself to earn love that should have been freely given, what a waste. I'll think about Christmas, I say calmly. I'll let you know what I decide. I end the call before she can respond. The following week at work, something strange happens. Jessica stops by my desk with coffee. Thought you might need this, she says, placing it beside my keyboard. No expectations, just kindness. At lunch, my colleagues ask about my holiday plans. When I mention the uncertainty around family Christmas, Dave from IT immediately offers, "A bunch of us are having an orphan Christmas if you want to join." Potluck style, everyone brings something they actually enjoy making. The contrast staggers me. These people, some I barely know beyond professional courtesy, asking what I want rather than telling me what they expect me to give. Thanks, I say, standing a little straighter. I might take you up on that. That evening, I open my laptop and begin drafting an email to my family. The words flow with surprising ease. Dear Mom, Dad, and Adrian. I type. I've given a lot of thought to Christmas this year. I've decided not to attend the gathering at Adrian's beach house. I explain my feelings without accusation, simply stating facts. Years of unbalanced expectations, the toll on my health and career, my need to create boundaries that honor my worth. An hour later, my phone rings. Aunt Rachel's name appears on the screen. Your mother called me, she says without preamble. She's quite upset. My heart sinks. I'm sorry if she dragged you into this. Don't be, Aunt Rachel's voice softens. I wanted you to know that whatever you decide about Christmas, I support you. It's long overdue, Marin. Tears spring to my eyes at this unexpected alliance. Thank you, I whisper. After we hang up, I return to my laptop, yet my phone lights up again. Mom calling. I take a deep breath and decide. I take 3 deep breaths before answering, exactly as Jessica advised during our lunch yesterday. Hello, Mom. My voice comes out steady, a stark contrast to the nervous tremor that usually accompanies these calls. Marin, we need to discuss Christmas arrangements. She launches in without preamble. Adrian wants to know which dishes you're bringing. He's planning the table settings. I press my palm flat against the cool granite of my kitchen counter. I won't be coming to Adrian's for Christmas. The silence that follows stretches so long I check my screen to ensure we haven't disconnected. That's ridiculous. Her voice returns, higher pitched than before. Of course you're coming. Your brother has a brand new house to show everyone. I've made other plans. I maintain eye contact with my reflection in the microwave door, refusing to look away from myself. What other plans could possibly be more important than family? The familiar dismissive tone creeps in. My plans are important because they're mine. Each word comes out distinct, like stepping stones across a rushing stream. I've spent every holiday cooking, serving, and cleaning, while everyone else enjoys themselves, including Thanksgiving last month, when you all started eating without me. You're being overly sensitive. I cooked for 2 days straight. Dad toasted Adrian for bringing the family together while I was still in the kitchen. You promised we'd all sit down together. For the first time in our decades of conversations, Mother has no immediate retort. The silence carries weight. Well, she finally manages, I'm sorry if you felt unappreciated. I didn't feel unappreciated. I was unappreciated. The distinction matters. I'm making different choices this year. I'm making different choices this year. You'll break your father's heart. Her voice wavers with practiced fragility. He's been telling everyone how proud he is of his children. I almost laugh. When did Dad last tell me he was proud of me? He didn't even acknowledge my promotion last spring. That's not fair. She stops abruptly. He what? He's not good with words, she offers weakly. Not like Adrian. Adrian is good with words because you and Dad hang on every one of them. You've spent my entire life treating him like the star of the show while I work backstage. Her breathing changes. I suppose we've taken you for granted. The admission, however small, stuns me into momentary silence. My prepared arguments dissolve, as unexpected tears prick my eyes. What would it take to fix things? She asks. When Mom asked what it would take to fix things, I hesitated. Should I give them another chance to change patterns built over decades? Or was it time to prioritize my own well-being, even if it meant spending holidays apart? I hang up without answering, promising to think about it. Jessica arrives at my condo an hour later with takeout and her laptop. Operation Freedom. Christmas is underway, she announces, setting containers of pad thai on my coffee table. You're ridiculous, I say, but the knot in my chest loosens for the first time in days. Look at these options. She flips open her laptop, displaying a booking site. Key West has vacancies at that boutique hotel we've been eyeing. Christmas on the beach instead of Christmas in servitude. I stare at the images of turquoise waters and swaying palms. My family would never understand. That's kind of the point. Jessica scrolls through room options. Your happiness isn't contingent on their understanding. My phone buzzes with Aunt Rachel's name. Speaking of family, I murmur, answering the call. I heard you're skipping Adrian's Christmas extravaganza. Rachel's voice carries none of my mother's accusation. News travels fast. Your mother called in reinforcements. She wanted me to talk some sense into you. My stomach tightens. And? I told her I'm visiting you in Orlando instead. The smile in her voice is unmistakable. I've had enough of Adrian's show-off mansion and your parents fawning. If you'll have me, of course. Tears well up again, but different from before. Really? Really. We can start our own traditions. Ones where nobody spends the entire day in the kitchen while others take credit. After we hang up, I book the Key West reservation for the days after Rachel's visit. For the first time, the holidays stretch before me like an open road, rather than a predetermined path. My phone rings again that evening. Dad's name flashes on the screen. He hasn't called me directly in at least 3 years. Marin, he says when I answer, his voice uncharacteristically hesitant. Your mother mentioned you might not be joining us for Christmas. Before I can respond, a text from Adrian lights up my screen. Are you really not coming to my new place for Christmas? I've made other plans, I tell Dad, watching another text bubble appear from Adrian. I see. The uncertainty in his voice is new territory for both of us. Perhaps we could discuss this further. Your mother was hoping you might meet her for coffee next week. I consider the request, turning it over like a strange artifact from another time. I'll think about it. After we hang up, I read Adrian's second text. Mom's really upset. Can't you just come for one day? Standing in my quiet kitchen, I realize I'm smiling. Not from cruelty or vengeance, but from the strange weightlessness of finally being seen. They've noticed my absence. It's a start. Next week, Wednesday, the holiday music floating through Sunflower Cafe feels like an ironic soundtrack to the tension unfolding at our corner table. Mother sits across from me, her hands clasped around a mug of peppermint mocha she hasn't touched. Between us lies the worn leather photo album she brought a tactical prop in her arsenal of manipulation. Your brother needs you, Marin, she says, flipping to a page with Adrian's kindergarten graduation photo. This isn't just about Christmas dinner. It's about family obligations. I watch her manicured finger trace the outline of Adrian's 5-year-old face, while completely skipping over my photo beside him. Even in reminiscing, I remain invisible. Adrian has important clients coming. He wants to impress them with a traditional family Christmas. Her voice drops to a confidential whisper. He specifically asked for your cranberry relish recipe. Not for me. For my recipe. You know your father and I won't be around forever. Her voice wavers with practiced emotion. Are you really willing to throw away your family over petty jealousy? The words land exactly as she intended, like a punch to the stomach. For a moment, I feel the familiar guilt rising in my throat. But then I notice her eyes darting to check if her performance is having the desired effect. I reach into my bag and pull out my own folder. I brought something too, I say, my voice steadier than I expected. I place 2 family photos side by side. The first shows last Easter's gathering, Adrian centrally positioned between our parents, while I'm barely visible at the edge, carrying a tray of deviled eggs. The second from Thanksgiving shows a similar composition, Adrian, raising a glass in toast while I stand in the background, refilling water glasses. 6 holidays in a row where I cooked every dish. I continue, sliding forward a handwritten list. 32 family gatherings where I arrived hours early to set up and stayed hours after to clean. 4 birthdays of mine that were rescheduled because they conflicted with Adrian's plans. Mother's face tightens. We appreciate everything you do. You appreciate everything I provide, I correct her. There's a difference. I tap the list with my index finger. When was the last time anyone took a photo of me enjoying a holiday meal? When did anyone offer to help me in the kitchen? When did my birthday get the same attention as Adrian's job promotion? She shifts uncomfortably, glancing around as if searching for witnesses to my rebellion. I'm not throwing away family, Mom. I say, my voice softening but not weakening. I'm refusing to be the servant. Her mouth opens, then closes. For perhaps the first time in my adult life, my mother has no ready response. The holiday decorations surrounding us, twinkling lights and paper snowflakes, cast strange shadows across her face. Outside the cafe window, shoppers hurry past with bags of presents, their faces alight with anticipation rather than obligation. I pull out my phone and slide it across the table, displaying the confirmation email. I'm spending Christmas in Key West, I say, with friends who see me as more than what I can provide for them. Mother stares at the screen, her face draining of color as reality sinks in. Her fingers clutch her untouched coffee mug so tightly her knuckles whiten. You've already booked it? The question comes out hollow, disbelieving. Jessica and I leave Christmas Eve morning. But what about Adrian's dinner? The genuine confusion in her voice speaks volumes. She truly cannot imagine a world where my brother's needs don't automatically supersede mine. Adrian has 2 hands that work perfectly well, I reply, and a kitchen full of appliances with instruction manuals. She looks at me as if I've suggested he perform brain surgery. He doesn't know how to cook a turkey. YouTube exists, I say simply. I learned most of my recipes there when no one taught me. The barista calls out another customer's order. Holiday music continues playing. Life goes on around us while my mother processes that her reliable kitchen servant has resigned without notice. When our bill arrives, I take it before she can reach for her purse. This one's on me, I say, placing my credit card on the small tray. No strings attached. It's a small gesture, but the symbolism isn't lost on either of us. For decades, every gift, every favor from my parents came with invisible strings, expectations of service, compliance, and gratitude for their conditional love. Mother gathers her photo album, her movements stiff and uncertain. As we stand to leave, I touch her arm gently. When you're ready to have a daughter instead of a servant, I'll be here. I say, I've always been here. You just need to see me. She doesn't respond, just nods once before walking out into the December afternoon. I watch through the window as she sits in her car for several minutes, not starting the engine, just staring straight ahead. That evening, Jessica helps me pack for our trip while sharing office gossip to lighten the mood. My phone buzzes with texts from Aunt Rachel, who reports that family channels are buzzing with news of my Christmas betrayal. Apparently, Adrian asked if the turkey comes with instructions written on it. She writes with a laughing emoji. Your mother told him to order catering, but your father insists on a home-cooked meal. I feel a strange lightness knowing my absence has created such a disruption. Not from spite, but from the realization that my contributions were substantial enough to leave a gap when withdrawn. The family group chat has been noticeably silent. No guilt trips, no angry messages, just the digital equivalent of stunned silence. As Jessica and I toast to our upcoming beach Christmas with glasses of wine, my phone lights up with a text. It's from my father, the first direct message he's sent me in years without my mother as intermediary. We need to talk, it reads. I set the phone down without responding, feeling neither triumph nor regret, just the quiet certainty that whatever happens next, I won't be returning to the kitchen while others enjoy the feast I've prepared. During Christmas time, the Key West sun warms my face as I stretch out on a beach towel beside Jessica. Laughter bubbles from my chest when our friend Theo performs an exaggerated impression of his boss. For once, I'm not bustling around serving others, I'm simply present, soaking in the moment. Marin, get in this. Jessica waves her phone, framing a photo of our impromptu holiday gathering. I slide between Theo and Jessica, smiling without reservation. The camera clicks, capturing my relaxed posture and genuine smile. 3 days in Key West, and I haven't once apologized for taking up space. Your pick for dinner tonight, Theo says, passing me the local restaurant guide. The simple act of choosing without calculating everyone else's preferences first still feels revolutionary. The seafood place on Duval. I decide without hesitation. Jessica raises her plastic cup, to Marin, who showed us all how to create holidays worth celebrating. 11 months later, on Thanksgiving Day, the aroma of rosemary and garlic fills my Orlando condo as I slide the turkey back into the oven. The timer reads 40 minutes, remaining plenty of time to join my guests. Need any help? Jessica asks from the doorway. Actually, I'm good. The words come easily now. Theo's handling the potatoes. Rachel brought dessert. Everything's under control. When I enter my living room, Aunt Rachel pats the sofa beside her. This beats Adrian's stuffy dining room, she whispers, squeezing my hand. My Thanksgiving table looks nothing like my mother's perfectly coordinated settings. Mismatched plates surround a centerpiece of driftwood and shells from Key West. Theo stands at the counter, sleeves rolled up, mashing potatoes, while deep in conversation with Rachel's daughter, Emily. Wine? I offer Rachel, pouring myself a glass without waiting for permission. Your father called me yesterday, Rachel says quietly. Asked if you were hosting Thanksgiving. The mention of my father doesn't trigger the familiar knot in my stomach. How are they doing? Managing. Your mother overcooks everything. Rachel smiles. Adrian burned the stuffing last year. We laugh, and the sound holds no bitterness. When we gather around my table, I take my seat, not rushing to serve or check if anyone needs anything before I begin. We pass dishes family style, each person contributing something to the meal. I taste everything, savoring flavors instead of worrying about others' reactions. Rachel raises her glass. To traditions that nourish rather than drain us. To chosen family, Jessica adds. 2 weeks later, my phone lights up with my father's number. I answer with steady hands. Marin. His voice sounds older. Your mother and I were wondering if we could visit for Christmas. I stand before the wall where I've hung the photo from our Thanksgiving dinner, 5 smiling faces, mine centered and glowing. I'd like that. I say, but things would be different. We'd cook together, not just me, and I've planned a friends gathering on Christmas Eve that wouldn't change. The silence stretches between us. Then, I think we can manage that. As I consider my father's request, I wonder if some relationships can be rebuilt on new terms, or if some patterns are too deeply ingrained to change. What would you do? Try to redefine the relationship, or maintain the healthy distance you've created? I hang up the photo, adjusting it until it sits perfectly level. Whatever happens with my parents, I've found my footing. This is my life now, chosen, not assigned.